Today we are going to start the discussion on the book Patanjali Yoga Sutras, a commentary by Swami Vivekananda. Now you can see the book over here, and here is the content of the book. There is one introductory chapter named Introduction. Then there are 4 chapters which discusses on the whole idea of the book. Chapter 1 is Samadhi Pada, Chapter 2 Sadhana Pada, Chapter 3 is Vibhuti Pada, Chapter 4 is Kaivalya Pada. Now we are leaving this introductory part and directly starting from chapter 1. So total 5 points will be discussed today. Mostly I will read the book. Chapter 1 is Samadhi Pada, concentration, its spiritual uses. First point is Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Atha Yoga Anushasanam is now concentration is explained. Now second is Yogas Chittavriti Nirodha. That is, yoga is restraining the mind stuff. Mind stuff is the chitta. Overall the complex network of the mind, where waves have their own pattern. Any type of curve it can follow. That is chitta. Again, I will speak. Yoga is restraining the mind stuff from taking various forms. This mind stuff takes various forms, various shapes. All those geometrical shapes which we have studied, or which mathematics students have studied. So this point number 2 needs a good discussion. So a good deal of explanation is necessary. First of all, we should understand what chitta is and what are the forms of the chitta. That is, what are these vrittis? Like, I have this eye. Eyes do not see. Means we have eye, or I have eye, but it is not able to see. Take away the brain center which is in the head, the eyes will still be there. Brain center, that is central part where all ideas are concentrated. So the eyes will be there even after you have taken the brain center from the head, which was actually in the head. Eyes will still be there, the retina will be complete, and also the picture, and yet the eyes will not see because our brain is not seeing. So the eyes are only a secondary instrument. Here they have quoted that eye is a secondary instrument and the primary instrument is something else. So eyes are only a secondary instrument, not the organ of vision. The organ of vision is the nerve center of the brain. That something else is the nerve center of the brain. So main focus is to discuss about the nerve center of the brain. The 2 eyes will not be sufficient alone. Sometimes a man is asleep with his eyes open. The light is there and the picture is there. But a third thing is necessary. Even the light is there. Pictures are there. Light which falls on a picture and picture is seen. But there is a necessity of a third thing, And that third thing is mind. The mind must join this organ. Now, the eye is the external instrument. Earlier, it was quoted that eye is a secondary instrument. Here, now it is quoted that it is an external instrument. So, secondary and external are almost defined in a similar manner. We need also the brain center and the agency of the minds. Carriages roll down a street. Carriages like Ghoda Gadi and all, like Belgadi, like Motor Gadi and all. The carriages roll down a street and you do not hear them. Why? Because your mind has not attached itself to the organ of hearing. First there is the instrument, then there is the organ, and third the mind attachment to these two. The mind takes the impression farther in and presents it to the determinative faculty buddhi, which reacts. Now, the thing that reacts to all these hearing and seeing is the buddhi. Along with this reaction flashes the idea of egoism. Then there is some sparkle or some light vibrations which shows the ego. Then this mixture of action and reaction is presented to the Purusha, the real soul who perceives an object in this mixture. The organs, that is Indriyas, together with the mind, that is Manasa, determinative faculty Buddhi, and the egoism, that is Ahankara, form the group called the Antakarana, the internal instrument. So there is a Antakarana, means inside there is a system developed of Buddhi, Ahankara, Manas and Indriyas. So this group has been formed. 4 faculties or 4 things have made a group, and that group is called the Antakarana. It's a complete system. It's the internal instrument. Now they are what various thought in the chitta are called vritti. They are but various processes in the mind stuff called chitta. The waves of thought in the chitta are called vritti. So the process in the mind stuff, everything in the mind or that group which has been formed is called chitta. The waves of thought in the chitta are called vritti. So how this wave formation occurs, which type of shape, which type of route that waves has taken are the vritti. The whirlpool is the literal translation. You have seen that whirlpool in the washing machine. So you can see that whirlpool in the basin also, where something circle becomes small circles, and that becomes even smaller, and a type of regular rolling structure is developed. So what is thought now? Thought is a force, as is gravitation or repulsion. It is absorbed from the infinite storehouse of force in nature. The instrument called chitta takes hold of that force. So thoughts are taken from this world, from the part of the world in which we are present. So it is absorbed from the infinite gravitation or repulsion. It is absorbed from the infinite storehouse of force in nature. The instrument called chitta takes hold of that force, and when it passes out at the other end, it is called thought. This force is supplied to us through food, and out of that food, the body obtains the power of motion, etc. Others, the finer forces it throws out in what we call thought. Naturally, we see that the mind is not intelligent, yet it appears to be intelligent. Naturally, you will see that mind is not intelligent, but it will appear to someone or to the one or to a person that it is intelligent. Why? What is the reason? Because the intelligent soul is behind it. There is some intelligent soul behind that mind, and you are the only sentient being. Mind is only the instrument through which you catch the external world. Take this book. As a book, it does not exist outside. What exists outside is unknown and unknowable. It is a suggestion that gives a blow to the mind, and the mind gives out the reaction. Suppose a stone is thrown into the water is thrown against it in the form of waves. A very good example has been quoted here. This line that if we throw a stone into the water will throw waves to us. Means we have thrown a stone in the water, and that water has reacted. Because we have acted, water will react. Now, water will react in the form of waves. It will form some circular, small circles, then bigger circles. That is circular waves it will form, and it will show that I have reacted, that I is connected to water. I am connecting that I to this water, to that water. The real universe is the occasion of the reaction of the mind. Yes. And a book form or an elephant form or a man form is not outside. All that we know is our mental reaction from the outer suggestion. Matter is the permanent possibility of sensation. Said John Stuart Mill, it is only the suggestion that is outside. Take an oyster, for example. You know how pearls are made. A grain of sand or something gets inside and begins to irritate it, and the oyster throws a sort of enameling around the sand, and this makes the pearl. A good example of pearl has been quoted. This whole universe is our own enamel, so to say, and the real universe is the grain of sand. So, what real universe, Ubalu, that sand, is the real universe in which, or in the system in which the oyster was stuck in. The ordinary man will never understand it because when he tries it, when he tries to, he throws out an enamel and sees only his own enamel. Now we understand that what is meant by this riddhis. The real man is behind the mind, and the mind is the instrument in his hands. And it is his intelligence that is percolating through it, like it is seeping through it. वो जा रहा है अंदर की ओर जा रहा है. It is only when you stand behind it that it becomes intelligent. So there will be some forces, बाहरी ताकत आएंगे, and you have to stand still. You have to first of all try to stand, and slowly you have to become still. When man gives it up, it falls to pieces and is nothing. So understand what is meant by chitta. It is the mind stuff, and the vrittis are the waves. So overall, the things which are acting in the mind is the chitta, and the shapes which are formed in that mind, like waves and ripples, when external causes impinge on it, are the vrittis. So these vrittis are our whole universe. Our whole universe is this vritti. And those vrittis shape our mind. Those vrittis make us do what we are doing. So the bottom of the lake we cannot see. We cannot see what is at the bottom of the lake because its surface is covered with ripples. Obviously, if you want to see that or see the bottom of the lake, you need two things. One, the water should be very clear, साफ सुथरा पानी होना चाहिए. Second, पानी में स्थिरता होनी चाहिए. There should be stillness in the water. Now, It is only possible when the ripple have subsided. So how you will see the bottom of the lake? Only when the ripples, waves, yeah, Hindi mein tarang, have subsided and the water is calm, completely still, for us to catch a glimpse of the bottom. Now we will be able to catch the glimpse. Now we will be able to see what is at the bottom. But if the water is muddy means the water have particles other than water particles. So the bottom will not be seen. Again, the bottom will not be seen because the water is dirty. So here we can take two examples. One is water is very still, but it is dirty. So we will not be able to see the bottom. Second is water is very pure, but it is having waves, continuous waves in different directions. Then this water will again be in a state in which we will not be able to see the bottom of the lake. If the water is muddy, the bottom will not be seen. If the water is agitated all the time, the bottom will not be seen. Two cases, water is muddy. There are two cases. First, water is muddy, and second, the water is agitated all the time. Now, if water is clear and there are no waves, we shall see the bottom. So that is the story, or that is what we want. We want to see the bottom of the lake, and for that, water should be clear and there should be no waves. These two conditions has to be satisfied. That bottom of the lake is our own true self. So here that bottom of the lake is actually it's we, or it's us, or it's I. The lake is the chitta. That lake is the chitta. And the waves are the vrittis. So here there has been a very good description. Bottom of the lake has been compared to our own self, and overall lake is actually the chitta, like overall universe is the chitta for us, and the waves are the vrittis, and the waves which are moving here and there, up and down, left and right in the universe are the vrittas. So same, the universe here is the lake. The universe here is the lake. Again, this mind is in three states. One is darkness, which is called tamas. Now here light and darkness are being quoted. Just as in brutes and idiots, it can only act to injure others. No other idea comes into that state of mind. Then there is the active state of mind, rajas, whose chief motives are power and enjoyment. I will be powerful and rule others. Then at last, when the wave cease and the water of the lake becomes clear, there is the state called sattva, that is serenity, that is calmness, that is peacefulness. It is not inactive, but rather intensely active. It is the greatest manifestation of power to be calm. Greatest show of power is to be calm. It is easy to be active. Let the reins go. Reins means chains, and the horses will drag you down. So if you loosen the chain, horses will drag you towards them. Anyone can do that, but he who can stop the plunging horses is the strong man. So those horses will keep on trying, keep on pulling you, keep on dragging you. But if you're a strong man, you can stop or slow down those plunging horses. This requires strength, letting go, or restraining. Calm man is not the man who is dull. You must not make mistakes sattva for dullness or laziness. The calm man is the one who has restraint of these waves. He can control those waves. He can resist those waves. Activity is the manifestation of the lower strength, calmness of the superior strength. So, calmness has been compared to a better level compared to calmness has been compared to activity, and calmness has been defined as or has been said as better than activity. So, this chitta is always trying to get back into its natural pure state, but the organs draw it out. To restrain it and to check this outward tendency and to start it on the return journey to the essence of intelligence is the first step in yoga. Now, here they have moved to yoga, they have started, or the author has started or told the first step in yoga, because only in this way can the chitta get into the proper course. So, the aim should be to make the chitta or to shape the chitta and shape it in an order, in a very simple way, an ordered way, so that it can get into proper course. Although this chitta is every animal, it is in every animal. This chitta is in every animal from the lowest to the highest. It is only in the human form that we find intellect. So chitta is there everywhere, but in human there is additional thing, that is intellect. And until the mind stuff can take the form of intellect, it is not possible for it to return through all these steps and liberate the soul. Immediate salvation is impossible for the cow and the dog, although they have mind, because their chitta cannot as yet take that form which we call intellect. So here it has been said that cow and dog may take time to get salvation, because one thing which has to be added in it is intellect. Now, chitta manifests itself in all these different forms. So there are various forms which has been explained, like scattering, darkening, weakening, and concentrating. Chitta demonstrate in various forms. Chitta may scatter, chitta may get darkened, no light. It may weaken or it may get concentrated. These are the four states in which mind stuff manifests itself. First, a scattered form is activity. Too much of activity means a form is scattered. Its tendency is to manifest in the form of pleasure or of pain. So, if there is activity, then either you will get pleasure or you will get pain. Then the dull form is darkness, the only tendency of which is to injure others. Darkness is like, and the tendency will be to hurt others, injure others, to think bad of others. The commentator says the first form is natural to the devas, the angels, and the second is the demoniacal form. The ekagra, the concentrated form of the chitta, is what brings us to samadhi. So devas also have that activity or in devas also the mind or the chitta takes the form of activity or takes a scattered form, that is active form, in which they will have pleasure sometimes and then pain at the other times. The and like a demonic thing, hurting others and all, that will be the darkened state of the chitta. But the concentrated form of chitta is the or that concentrated form brings us to the status of or stage of samadhi. Now moving to third point. Tadadrustu Swarupe Avasthanam. At the time, the seer. At that time. Time here is the time of concentration to seer, Seer is one who is the Purusha, who sees, who seeks, rests in his own unmodified state. As soon as the waves have stopped, earlier there were waves and now the waves have stopped and the lake has become quiet. As waves will stop, the lake will become quiet. Now we will be able to see the ground below the lake. So, with the mind, when it is calm, we see what our own nature is. As we stop those waves in the mind, we will be able to see our own nature. We do not mix ourselves but remain our own selves. So, in order to see oneself, that wave has to be stopped. Coming to fourth point, vritti sarupyam itaratra. At other times, other than that of concentration, like when you are not concentrating, the seer is identified with the modifications. For instance, I am in a state of sorrow. Someone blames me. This is a modification. Vritti. I identify myself with it, and the result is misery. An example has been given, like you are in a state of sorrow and someone is blaming you. Someone is blaming you and you are in a state of sorrow. Okay, that is okay. But when you start identifying yourself with it, that actually your chitta is taking the shape. It has taken a shape, it has taken a vritti, and the result will be what? The result will be misery. So you can see which type of thoughts you have created. Which type of reactions you are giving. That reactions is leading you to some result, and that result is misery. Now, point number 5. Vritya pankchatya klista or klista. There are 5 classes of modification: painful and not painful. So here 5 classes of modifications has been quoted over here. In those 5 classes, few are painful and others are not painful. So this will be explained in the coming points. So for today, we have discussed point number 1 to point number 5. And in the next discussion, we will discuss point number 6 to point number 10. Thank you.